What's up, everyone? We are live at 5. It's Wednesday. It's matinee day on Broadway.
Two-show day.
It's April 24th. I'm Paul Wontorek.
And I'm Beth Stevens.
And we're joined by Caitlin Moynihan.
Hello.
And a super exciting special guest that you all love and we love.
We do.
Mr. John Cameron Mitchell is here. He has an amazing new... I've been listening to him for hours because he has an amazing new podcast, and I got a little peek at it. And
lucky you.
It is really cool. I know you guys know him for other things, but you
Really?
need to find out about this. Secret Garden. And a little show called Hedwig and the Engage. But first, today's top 5.
We're going to be living it up on these bops.
This is news that surprises absolutely no one. There will be a Hadestown Broadway original cast recording.
Because the one I've been listening to is the off-Broadway live. They did a
There's
live
that.
recording.
There's the concept album, but now we will have the Broadway cast recording.
Right.
It is scheduled to be released on June 7th, 2 days before the Tony Awards, just in case you're keeping track.
Mm-hmm.
It will be available as a double CD. Do you have a CD player anymore?
Does anyone?
You do not.
No.
No, maybe John does. You don't know. It's, of course, by celebrated songwriter Anais Mitchell and developed with Rachel Chavkin, the director, and will feature the Broadway stars Reeve Carney, Eva Noblezada, Patrick Page, Andre DeShields, Amber Gray. Need I go on? I will not. I will leave it at that.
It's going to be good.
There you go.
They're recording it Monday and Tuesday, I think.
Oh, you know everything.
I know things. A lot of things are going to happen for Hedwigstown next Tuesday. So,
Yeah, that's true.
Fingers crossed.
including making a cast album.
And this duo has another project in the works.
So this is interesting. Speaking of Rachel Chavkin, who of course just got rave reviews for Hadestown, she's making a musical of Moby Dick with Dave Malloy. Of
Feels
course,
like a joke, but it's not.
well,
It's a very big book.
No, but what's interesting is that in the 90s, I was obsessed with this cast recording of a Moby Dick musical that was done in England that Cameron McIntosh produced. It was a big
Oh.
flop in the West End, but it was really campy, and I loved it. So I used to listen to this Moby Dick musical.
So is she just going to do big doorstopper novels
This
as
is different.
musicals?
I think this is going to be
It's
very
not like
different.
War and
This
Peace.
is not the campy one I loved from London. This is, of course, they did Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812 together. This will play ART. So basically, we found out what's happening up at American Repertory Theater.
Where Diane Paulus is
in
the
Cambridge.
artistic director.
Right, and that's where like Jagged Little Pill just happened and is coming to Broadway now. And what else happened there?
Waitress.
Waitress and
Great Comet
Finding
started there.
Neverland.
Many shows
and
they're
Pippin,
developing.
and anyway, it's become sort of a birthing ground. So when things are announced there, it's a big deal. So this Moby Dick musical will start December 3rd of this year and run through January 12th. And it is based on the book, and Captain Ahab will be a character, and I can't wait to hear about the casting. Also, is on the schedule for ART is Six, which is this musical that has been a big hit in London. Is nominated for Best Musical for the Olivier's. It's the Six Wives of Henry VIII,
Eighth.
and it's like they're like a girl group.
They're
it's
all
like a Spice
beheaded.
Girls thing.
Yeah.
Also interesting to me is Diane Paulus will be directing a new production of 1776, which I think is something we all need to be paying attention to. There's also a new Gloria Steinem play, Gloria a Life, also Black Life, Ocean Filibuster, Macbeth in Stride, and other things. Anyway, so find out all about the season, but those are the things that are really jumping out for us.
And some stars are heading to the bowl.
Speaking of Pippin, see, I
it's-
wanted a
there's a
segue,
seg.
and I
Yep.
found one.
Okay.
Tina Miller and Gaten Matarazzo and
okay.
Shanice Williams. Tina Miller won a Tony Award
Yes,
for
yeah,
Pippin.
I had to think about it, yeah.
Directed by Diane Paulus. But they are all going to the Hollywood Bowl to star in Into the Woods.
That's fun.
So Patina will play the witch, Gaten Matarazzo will play Jack, and Shanice Williams, who was, of course, in The Wiz, the
she's great.
live Wiz, will be Little Red. Tony winner Whoopi Goldberg will be the voice of the giant.
Oh, okay.
She's not going to be there. Her voice will be there.
That's
it's a
the
big
thing.
voice. It's a big thing. It will be directed and choreographed by Robert Longbottom with musical direction by Kevin Stites. This is this summer, July 26th through the 28th. Of course, this is a Sondheim musical. I don't need to tell you that.
People
James
know Into the
Lapine.
Woods. They know it.
You know what it is,
They know
right?
it.
Okay, good.
And this princess is going beyond the palace walls in London.
Well, she already is. This was sort of a surprise
Yeah.
thing. Suddenly we saw on social media that Courtney Reed, who of course played Princess Jasmine in the original Broadway company of Aladdin for a long time,
yeah.
right? I mean, a nice long run. She just joined the West End production at the Prince Edward Theater. It's her West End debut. So congratulations, Courtney.
Back on the magic carpet.
She was previously seen on Broadway in Mamma Mia and In the Heights, of course. She's done a bunch of TV, and also starring in Aladdin currently is Matthew Croak as Aladdin and Trevor Dion Nicholas as the genie. So have fun over there.
And this guy's dancing through life all over London.
This is such a fun story. Alastair
it?
Brammer, I think so. Alastair Brammer, who was in Miss Saigon on Broadway and in the West End, is going to play Fiyero in Wicked in the West End.
Natural fit.
Natural fit. He will begin performances on July 22nd. Natural fit, says Broadway.com. He is succeeding current leading man David Witz, who will take his final bow on July 20th.
What else is on the site? So Tootsie opened last night.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And
Happy opening.
you did a piece with Robert Horn, who just
I did.
got
Robert Horn, who got
amazing
very
reviews.
good
He wrote the
reviews.
book to Tootsie, and everyone's talking about how hilarious Tootsie is. Credit to Robert Horn.
He loves a bow tie, that man.
He does. He rocks a bow tie. We have some great opening night portrait booth photos coming up. We have video. Matt Roden did a red carpet challenge, which is a lot of fun. What else? There's some Mockingbird stuff on the site.
Yes. We have Jeff Daniels as Atticus
right.
Finch.
Yep. The whole video with him, and then the final episode of Gideon.
Will come up
Blitz.
tomorrow.
Okay, his vlog's coming
Yes,
out.
yep.
There'll be other things coming up. Anyway, and
Other
Ink opens tonight. There's two
Happy
more
opening to Ink. Two more Broadway openings.
before the Tony cutoff.
Ink and Beetlejuice.
That's
That's
it.
the range too. That's really those shows are very different from each other.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. And then no more night work, right? Then we
Oh,
can,
I'm sure we'll come up with
things
some
will
more things
happen.
to do.
Things
Yeah.
will be happening, and the Tony nominations come out next Tuesday, guys.
Really? Thank you.
Did you know that?
I did.
In April.
I know that's strange.
It's
But the last
unusual.
day of April.
It's unusual. Anyway, thank you, Beth. We're
Thank
gonna make
you.
room for Mr. John Cameron Mitchell now. Hey, Caitlin, tell
Yes.
everyone about John.
Yes, we have John Cameron Mitchell here with us in the studio today to celebrate the launch of his new podcast, Anthem by Topic. It's an edgy anthology series telling a story with a musical voice. He earned a special Tony Award in 2015 and is known for writing the book of Hedwig and the Angry Inch, as well as appearing in the title role in film and on Broadway and on tour. He's iconic. He's also appeared in The Secret Garden, 6 Degrees of Separation, and Big River. His screen credits include Girls, Shrill, Mozart in the Jungle, and more. Follow him on social media at John Cameron Mitchell and leave all of your questions in the comments below. Please welcome John and Paul.
Thank you, Caitlin. Hey, John, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
No, I feel like I'm in another world.
You are. You're in another world.
When did you
you're,
get the set?
we built a new set since the last time you were here. Do you like it? It's
Yeah,
good.
it's very
We could change the
expensive.
colors to anything. So,
can?
yeah.
I like these.
I know you know how to work a microphone
Yeah.
because you've been really in this audio world
Yes.
now, right? It's
Yeah.
it's so interesting. I've been listening to the first few episodes of your brand new podcast. It's called Anthem,
Yeah.
right? And this is an anthology. So this is season 1.
Yes.
And season 1 is called,
Homunculus.
which means
Little man.
I know, little man.
Something that
Say it like
Glenda
that. I like how you
Jackson
say
would
it.
Call you.
Uh-huh.
Little man.
Little man.
Okay.
Okay. So the idea is that there will be future seasons with different names. This is just sort of the
Different stories, different writers.
Okay.
You
cool.
know, we just could be the Godfathers from now on.
Mm-hmm.
But it came out of heartbreak because Brian Weller, my composer, and I wrote it for a TV series.
Yeah, I read that.
And it was too weird. But you know, we shouldn't have been surprised because if we brought Hedwig to them, Hollywood now, they would also
Right.
say, I don't know, we don't know what to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to do what you got to do. And this great company called Topic Studios, which makes films, podcasts, like Missing Richard Simmons,
Yes, that was
you know,
fantastic. Yeah.
Losers on Netflix, Spotlight, Leave No Trace. They financed it, and it's an expensive podcast because we have 40 actors, 40 pieces of music, 5.5 hours, 10 episodes. Glenn Close plays my mom.
I know.
Patty LuPone.
Patty LuPone.
is my aunt.
Yeah.
Dennis
I started
O'Hare.
listening to it and I was like, God, I wonder when when you're just listening, I was like, am I going to recognize when Patty comes? And the minute she was like, here's Patty LuPone.
There's Patty.
Here she comes.
There's Patty.
It's amazing.
She plays a version of my aunt who is a nun,
Yeah.
and she's a cool nun.
Uh-huh. Yes, I noticed.
Not a nonsense nun, but the kind that you can tell everything too. And,
yeah.
Wants to officiate if you marry a boy, that kind of nun.
Yeah.
Which there are a lot of.
And a jazz singer.
And a jazz singer.
Sure.
You may have seen, if you go on my Instagram, you'll see some of her, some art. It's
Wait, hold that up to that camera there.
Patty in a.
This is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
There she is.
Amazing.
We
Yeah.
had some slight controversy. I don't know why, but with Glenn Close's art, because we didn't see it coming, but she's originally on a cross,
Yes, I see that.
nailed to a cross, as my mother was figuratively for many years. And there was some people who didn't like that on her social media. She was a little bit shocked. So we took the cross off.
Well,
But what if she's playing Jesus and Jesus
lot of
Christ
people-
Superstar? And we're not allowed to have a poster?
That's true. A lot of people have opinions these days. But now this actually, so this is let's get this very clear. This is a musical podcast.
Yeah.
So there are 31 original songs. Is that
31
number?
original songs, 6 Tony winners.
Cynthia Erivo.
Cynthia Erivo,
Right.
James Eigelhart.
Okay.
Dennis O'Hare plays my dad.
Oh, okay.
Me.
Yes, you're right.
Somebody else. Laurie Anderson plays my tumor.
Yeah, I know. Plays your tumor. Well, that's a good leap into the plot. What
I
we're
said I
dealing
could
with
think
here.
of no
First of
one
all,
else.
we for fans of Hedwig and the Angry Inch. First of all, this originally kind of started as a sequel. That was the original idea.
Yeah.
That you were, because we heard that you were sort of thinking.
The
you were living
character-
with the idea of a sequel and
Yeah.
trying to sort of process.
The main
that.
character in this piece, and even in the Hedwig version, was someone who's out of insurance,
Yeah.
living in Junction City, Kansas again.
In the
trailer
same
park.
trailer.
In this case, yes.
Okay, so
My
that's how-
character is living in the same trailer that Hedwig lived in, but doesn't know who she is.
Right. Okay.
There's
yeah.
an implication.
Future resident of the
There's
same trailer.
blonde wig hair's choking the drains.
Uh-huh.
And he's out of insurance, so he has to do a telethon
Mm-hmm.
on his app, on his phone, to raise money to get his tumor out
Yep.
in this stupid country
Yeah.
without health care. And he says, I'm staying online till I get the 100,000 to get
Mm-hmm.
the tumor out, or till I die, whichever comes first.
Wow.
So he's kind of Jerry Lewis. He's kind of, other people we know who have to do this. And he's got a lot of material to fill up the time. He's been writing stories, songs about his life, his autobiography, which he's going to fill the time with.
Yeah.
And then we have flashbacks, so that Glenn Close plays my mom, who has Alzheimer's now, as a woman with Alzheimer's, and then plays her in the past and in the afterlife. There's a lot of hallucinations. I'm realizing I didn't see it, but some friends are reminding me of a William Finn musical,
A New Brain.
A New Brain, which also, wasn't he also, did he have
thought
a
was
tumor?
yeah, he was dying. Yeah, yeah.
And he had visions and
He had
stuff?
some rare disease. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this, I mean, I didn't see that, but there's, the classic, my life is flashing before my eyes. I don't have so much time left, structure to it.
Right.
But in this case, we have, because it's a podcast, we could get this amazing cast and record them very quickly.
Well, wait a minute. I love this quote that Patty LuPone gave the New York Times. She said, "I would walk with John to the ends of the earth. In this case, I only had to stand in front of a mic in my slippers." So it's a great, because you can get people to
You can
commit
get
to.
these people; they don't have to shave. And Patty was in London doing company, and I needed her character saying "fuck you," and I said, "Patty, I texted her, could you put a towel over your head and scream 'fuck you' into your voice memo and text me?"
Amazing.
And we just dropped it into the mix. So that's the future of musicals right there. I say, could you
love
also
that.
take a picture of yourself with a towel on your head for our making of, which she refused to do.
That's a great. The idea that that's a telethon happening is such a great, because the minute you start, I was immediately hooked.
Right.
The minute you start
It's like,
listening, it's really
there's
gripping. It's a really
stakes.
great idea to sort of structure it. It's really, really clever. but the oral soundscape of these things. This one's really beautiful. What you've created. It's very layered, and obviously that must have taken a lot of time to get it to the level of sort of sophistication.
It
that
really
you
did.
wanted.
I mean, as you know, most podcasts are two people in a room, or at best, there's a kind of, the history of Watergate or something in a
Yeah.
lot of stuff. But in our case, we wanted to, in effect, make a kind of audio cinema,
Yeah.
like a theater of the mind, and it took a lot longer to create that space because with a film, the visuals does a lot of the work, but here you have to make sure everything is perfect because you're only hearing one sense, and it just took probably 6 months longer than we expected. But this company Luminary wants to be the Netflix of podcasts.
Wow.
And they have a new app that's actually works like your iPhone podcast app. You can find everything on there, and it's more intuitive actually. And they have 40 of their own original podcasts, which we're, one of. And they just launched this week.
Amazing.
So the first 2 episodes are free everywhere you get podcasts.
Are they out now?
They are out now.
They come out this
and
week.
then next week, episode 3 and onwards, you sort of need to get a subscription. But you can get a free, month if you need it, and cancel it if you have to. But Luminary is actually great. They have new content from Lena Dunham, Conan O'Brien, Trevor Noah, Russell Brand. They're really trying to do it right. And the subscription thing helps make more ambitious podcasts with higher budgets like ours possible.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's a bit of an experiment. But we have a soundtrack coming out on
I
Ghostlight.
know, on Ghostlight Records, May
Yes.
20th, right?
5 of the songs are already out, including many of my favorites. My favorite probably being Love You for Free by Cynthia Erivo.
Oh, so how does she fit into this story?
She's the only fictional character. The rest are somewhat based on people in my life. My boyfriend is played by Nakane, who's a brilliant South African singer who's unbelievable, actor, singer. And Cynthia plays someone, my mom was an anti-abortion activist and very Catholic, and she was into visions of the Virgin Mary, and she would help unwed mothers or coerce them into giving up their children for adoption. And so Cynthia plays Charisma, who's a teenage unwed mother, and then she reappears 20 years later as a different, very different type of person who's befitting Cynthia's talents, and regal bearing. She's kind of a priestess. And we wrote 5 songs for her, and this one, Love You for Free, to me is just her performance. I love the song too, but it's just a classic. I really believe she's given us, the heart of the piece. And Glenn Close sings a punk song, Nailed to a Cross.
Naturally.
Hattie is a junkie nun
Great.
and sings a song about, the great mother goddess who actually, gave birth to Jesus. There were people before God, and they were women, called I See What I Am, and another jazz song called Second Glance. So we really we give people good stuff. And we're going to be, I'm on tour also doing the Origin of Love tour.
I know. So that's coming
So I
to
do some
Town
of
Hall
those.
June 29th, right? For
June
World
20
Pride.
World Pride.
It's World Pride.
It's actually 3 shows, 27, 28, 29.
Oh, okay.
I think there's only a few tickets left for 27.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we're
it's a
doing
hot ticket.
Mexico City, Miami. We're traveling around doing it, and it's
So what
kind
is
of
the idea? Do you just sort of
the idea was to make money for my mom, but it turned out to be a lot of fun. It's really Trask is going to join me for New York, but it's
Stephen Trask?
it's the history of Hedwig through story and song. So it's us just telling, back, behind the sings, how things happened, who, this song was written for someone else but ended up in Hedwig, my boyfriend's story, who was part of the creation, and meeting David Bowie, and, just all the crazy, it seems like a lot of people are doing their origin tours, like the Beastie Boys doing one, telling about the history of the Beastie Boys, and it happens when you're old.
You have the best title of all, natural title.
What?
Origin of Love. I mean,
Yeah.
for your origin story tour.
I
mean,
know.
come on.
We did it in Australia. It invariably ends with me crowd surfing in a seated venue, which I first did my last show at the Belasco for Hedwig. I was threatened to, but my producer was like, please don't crowd surf in the theater, insurance, no understudy. But the last show I was singing Angry Inch, and I just sort of climbed up on a chair and then slowly fell forward and bewildered the theater guard. Today's tics, TKTS people, confused, carrying me. Luckily, they had no phones.
Wow.
And I did a full surf to the back of the house and then forward again.
Oh.
So when I did it at Sydney Opera House, I couldn't get enough. So there'll be more of that.
Amazing. How exciting.
I got to get Patti LuPone to do
No,
it.
I loved you on Shrill.
We did ask Patti to play Hedwig.
You did what?
We asked Patti to play Hedwig when we were looking
On Broadway?
When we were looking
When
for
you were
new
when you were
Hedwigs.
when you got all those amazing people to do it.
And she
Patty
was like,
one of the dream
yeah,
options.
and she actually went, But before she could decide, we had to pull the plug.
Wow. So that could have
Right,
happened.
that could have, and it might
Could have
still.
been.
Patty LuPone actually
As
considered
Hedwig.
doing it. That would have been epic.
Because she was an early supporter.
Yeah.
When we did it off Broadway, which was really bewildering for many TDF audiences, there was often very silent, people staring at me.
Well, I saw it at Westbeth, wasn't it? Was that the?
Well, Westbeth was just a month-long workshop.
No, I was there.
Or do you, really?
I saw it at Westbeth. You did performances, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
That's pretty good. I mean, it was, Jane Street was the
Yeah, I
was
know.
the off-Broadway.
Oh, I saw it there.
I
And I
had-
interviewed Ali Sheedy. Back in the day.
Well, it
Back
could have
in
been
the day.
Patty.
Patty LuPone, yeah.
She would have probably.
Well, she could still do it.
She could.
I'm into
I
it.
mentioned it to Meryl Streep too, and she said I could. She would. I was too shy to ask if I could quote her, but she said, "Hedwig, that's Hamlet on heels." But my knees aren't up to it. I'm like, Meryl, I love you.
Amazing.
I just want to say I loved you on Shrill. You were Gabe.
you.
You were kind of a piece of work.
I'm an asshole.
Is that?
It's a good show, though, right?
Yeah.
I really like
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But is Gabe? Does he come back
Yes.
in season 2? Does he redeem himself? Is he gonna? Are we gonna get to find out? He's a
He'll be
little
more human.
piece of work.
know,
so
I-
mean to Annie.
I'll play a Bond villain
I love
for my
seeing that.
rent.
Yes.
I love seeing that side of you. But now
Fat
that
shaming.
you've written a new musical basically, and now people
Yeah.
are going to get to experience it in their
Yeah.
ears. They will want to see these songs on stage. So I wonder, especially for releasing a soundtrack, can you imagine any world that this could turn into a theatrical?
Well, Welcome to Night Vale is a long-running, podcast, and they do their live shows like Prairie Home Companion did, and it's possible. And my friend does another one called Orbiting Human Circus. There's a lot of fictional podcasts coming up that have musical elements. I'm in 3, but I don't know. It's such a huge undertaking. It is a 5.5-hour musical
Yeah.
in effect, and if it has another form, I'm not sure what it would be. It certainly could be theater, but we'd have to slim it down. It could be a film. It could be a TV series. I'm not shutting anything down.
Right, of course.
I am doing some of the songs in the Origin of Love tour,
Great.
and I really love it. Brian Weller, my composer, really also got me past my PTSD that I couldn't write a song because I don't play instruments. I was like, oh, I can't write a song if I can't play. It's like, yes, you can. And we did an exercise where we wrote 20 songs in 12 hours, and
Right.
2 of them ended up in the podcast. So I realized I can write melody and lyrics even though I can't play anything, and so I want to do more of that. the other seasons of Anthem, we want to be completely different writers. So here's a shout out to anyone. Once they hear ours, they'll see what we did. We have dreams of Kendrick Lamar and anybody who has a theatrical bent in creating their audio musical series. And that includes Broadway people. They always tend to think of there's one way that a musical goes, tryouts, readings, workshops, which were useful for us, but I would also argue for this audio form. Whether it's the last form of it or not, it's a very reasonable way to develop a beautiful story. And you can get great talent because it's a shorter, record.
Right. Caitlin,
Yes.
are the fans saying anything online?
They're saying a whole lot. So I know you mentioned Night Vale, which I love, but Chris asks, what is your favorite podcast, and did any particular one inspire you while creating this one?
I would say Orbiting Human Circus, which I'm a voice in. Another friend has one called Adventures in New America that is up for a Webby Award. So I could maybe get a WeGot.
To aspire to.
Yeah, a WeGot, a web.
Love that.
I've heard of a PGOT.
Which what do you throw
Guess who
in?
just got a PGOT? It's a Peabody added.
Oh.
Rita Moreno.
Oh.
Rita Moreno just won a PGOT.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Very
Okay.
few. There's
That's
like
a PGOT.
3 PGOT winners in the world.
PGOT. Okay.
She got a PGOT.
Okay.
And so I recommend Adventures in New America. There's a brilliant comedian that we don't really know here named Julia Davis, who's a British, very dark comedy. Lena Dunham kind of remade her series called Camping, but less dark.
Right.
And she has a very funny podcast. It's like a fake kind of Dear Abby, 2 ladies giving terrible advice. Someone look it up.
That sounds fun.
Alexandra. Julia Davis podcast, now I can tell you
I
about
love that. Amazing. Cool. So next question is Jim wants to know how long did this process take for you to from inception to actually getting the podcast
I wasn't
out there?
in Inception. Well, it was originally going to be a Hedwig sequel because I thought, a convenient voice to tell the things I wanted to talk about, which were really more autobiographical about my family and my boyfriend who passed away. And it was just putting a wig on a wig, which I've done before. It was too many things. She had a lot of baggage. I had baggage. I cleared her out. It became more a version of me. And so I had a lot of material I had developed over time. But then when we really wrote it, it took about a year and a half. We did a road trip to Kansas, and we wrote a lot of it at William Burroughs' house. He's a character.
Yes, I heard about that. That's amazing.
And we drove up through the Midwest to Portland and rode up there. So I recommend writing trips. And then the actual production, the recording probably took 2 months, and then mixing and editing took a lot of time. We didn't have that many people, but it probably took about a year. So 4 or 5.5 hours of material.
And 5 or 6 texts to pile upon with emergency requests.
International texts, which cost $7.
I love that. So this will be our last question.
Yeah.
But Sammy wants to know what has been your favorite part about this experience so far and getting the podcast out there.
It's being here in this
Appreciate
fake
that.
theater. Are there fake stagehands? No. It's a union house. That reminds me. Maybe I mentioned it last time I was here. Thank God for stagehands. We had the best at the Belasco, and I did a terrible thing, inadvertently. I decided I didn't want to do matinees, so I did 2 shows at night, with an hour and a half between, which was kind of good because you're sort of warmed up.
Right.
But I forgot to pee between 2 shows, and halfway through the second show, I'm like, I I got to pee like a racehorse. It's a one-man show. I can't leave the stage. What do I do?
You can work that in.
Bucket. But I can't just have an angry inch. Do I stand? Do I sit? And Lena Hall, I was like, all right, Lena has a song. So I kind of receded to the shadows upstage into the darkness and sat on the little corner of the stage and just let go. And there was in the dark, a puddle forming between the drummer and the guitarist. And I just sadly looked off into the middle distance, the way your cat does when it's peeing, and said, oh my God, this is terrible. And then had to get up to do backup singing and kind of reached for a towel and did this and then did this. So I wasn't dripping in silhouette, and sang the backup. And, you know, I was so rock and roll. I could have been dripping with sweat, and I was dripping with my own urine. And then it came off stage, and I was like, you guys are really sorry. And they were like, I was like, yeah, it's mostly water. And then I bought them all like expensive scotch the next day.
You peed on the stage of the Belasco
But because I
Theater.
had good credit and I was a good to everyone, I had just enough credit to get away with it. But, you know, it's kind of a miracle. It's kind of a beautiful thing, isn't it?
I love it. I love it. Are you still okay with the Schuberts? Are we still good?
Well, I put them in the show, so.
Exactly.
Kept
I
them
know.
happy.
That was fantastic. Everyone needs to get Anthem.
Anthem Homunculus.
It's now not just only my favorite song in chess. It's also a fantastic podcast,
Yes.
musical podcast.
Yes.
Congratulations.
It's also
It's a lot of things.
a game, video game.
A video
but
game.
You can get it. Download the Luminary app.
Uh-huh.
It's a great app. It's better than the Apple one. Anyone, you can get all your podcasts on there, and get the two first ones for free on Anthem. But it's pretty special. You need good sound. Takes a couple episodes to kind of get into it because it's new. And be ready to.
Give it a try. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I got into it halfway through the first one, so
Okay,
it didn't take
good.
me too.
Great.
And then on May 20th, you can get the album on Ghostlight Records, a soundtrack.
Yeah, some songs are already available,
Some songs
including
already
"Love You
available.
for Free" and "End of Love."
And you can beg at the end of June during World Pride, which is the biggest gay pride in the history of anything. You will be doing Origin of Love at
Yes.
Town Hall with Stephen Trask. That's
Yes.
super. And on the road, people can
On
find
the
out
road,
about
I'm
it.
doing it in Miami, Mexico before that.
Amazing.
And watch Shrill.
Yeah, sure.
My
When is that
show
coming
on-
back? Did you already film more episodes?
We're shooting the next season this summer. We got
Okay.
picked up, and it's got a real unanimous
Yeah.
raves now, which
Yeah.
I lucked out with great people, and we shoot in Portland, Oregon, which is great.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So, and also the Hedwig Criterion collection
Oh, right.
Blu-ray
Okay.
comes out.
With some bonus things.
Lots of bonus.
Oh, lots of bonus things.
June 25th.
Is there footage of you peeing on the stage of the Belasco incorporated into this?
There's a shot of me peeing into the East River as
This is the
Hedwig.
thing. This is the thing.
Yeah, from behind. And there's a lot of good stuff on there. A lot of memorabilia and a new documentary and
Amazing.
Yep.
Cool. When does that come out? Soon.
June 25th.
Oh,
you know,
it's
right
all
before the
happening.
shows. Yeah.
Look at you. So much is happening.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You always keep it interesting. You're not just Dickin from Secret Garden. You're really
Mm.
interesting. A lot of things happening. I love it. Thank you for being here. Everybody
Thank
get
you.
the app. Get into it. You're going to love it. Caitlin, why don't you take us out?
Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We are live at 5 every single day on Facebook. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcast by searching for hashtag live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Be sure to tune in tomorrow when we talk to Ryan Redmond of Frozen.